Now, Arsenal have set out their ambitions for this summer's transfer window, with Mikel Arteta targeting the Real Madrid winger Rodrygo. Mark McAdam is with us to discuss that a little bit. They saw him off in the Champions League, and it turns out Mikel Arteta had a close eye on one of those Real Madrid players.
Yeah, Rodrygo, obviously former Santos man who joined Real Madrid in 2019. He scored 32 goals in 172 La Liga appearances. He's won 3 La Liga titles. He's won 2 Champions Leagues. He's been at the heart of Real Madrid for the last 6 years since he made his debut in 2019. So he is exactly the type of player that Arsenal fans would say, yes, big box ticked. He's what we want. We want players of that kind of calibre. A Brazil international as well. We reported on the transfer show that he was a player of interest with regards to Mikel Arteta's rebuild over this summer. They're looking for players that can play down that left-hand side, which Rodrygo can. This morning we've had a little bit more detail to say that he's actually not just a player of interest, but one of Arsenal's top targets for that left-sided position. As things stand, there's been no formal club-to-club communication. This is very much just still interest at this stage. What Andrea Berta has been doing over the course of the last few weeks and months is just speaking to all of the relevant representatives for those players that they've targeted. So if they're on the Arsenal list, normally what would happen, the sporting director would speak to their agents, speak to their reps and say, right, what's the deal? How much would it cost to get him out of the club? Would he be interested in joining us and being a part of this project? How much would he want wages-wise? They formulate those lists, and then they'll go back to the management team, obviously of Mikel Arteta, who has a heavy hand in recruitment, and say, right, this is what it's going to cost us. This is the metrics with regards to finance. Who do you want and in what order? Our information this morning is that one of the top targets for that left-sided position is Rodrygo. So it'll be interesting to see how things develop now. We know that there are other names that they're looking at. Nico Williams, of course, in Spain. Leroy Sané, who's a free transfer. Morgan Rogers, who's had an outstanding campaign for Aston Villa. And they're looking for proven quality. They're looking for players that can take them from being the nearly boys to the Premier League champions. And you get the feeling that Rodrygo would be that type of player that has that special sauce. Something a bit different, something that could really elevate that Arsenal team. So, yeah, one to keep an eye on. The 24-year-old Brazil international, a player that Mikel Arteta very much likes.